women in growing communities are involved in economical, political, developmental, and social work. It's not a surprise, it's happening. I know, May, you know the suffering of women in growing communities, but I'm here to accentuate the bright side. Media and other sources already are showing the negative picture, because that when I'm saying women in growing communities, first thing that comes to your mind is suffering, weakness, difficulties, and many more. But today, I wanna encourage the world to support and help women, not crying about their situation. Maybe we are facing problems, but we are not weak women, and we are not pathetic. I left my country, I faced the risk of death, I adopted with the idea of being a refugee when I was a child, I was rejected from all the universities in my place. I was so sad, but I never felt like I'm weak. I needed help before as a human being, but I consider the idea of supporting and empowering women sometimes lacking credibility. Women need your help, but they are stronger than you think. They need your help to show and use this power. For example, in growing community like Mozambique, according to Peace Women, Mozambique is one of the 15 countries in the world with the highest representation of women in parliament, at 35%. Okay, another example. According to the UN, they documenting success stories and Yemeni women's role in different levels of conflict, resolution, and peace. Okay, the last example for today. In the Ethiopian Parliament, the women's participation was under 3%. Today it stands at 38%, almost twice the ratio of women in the United States Congress. Wow. Wow. All of these achievements are happening because of believing in women, because of those people who left their countries and traveled to these communities. Being part of the change is a great thing. But if you want to be part of the change, you should know the truth before. I know there are a lot of women who need our help, but their stories should make you feel proud, not sad. Stop showing the woman as a weak human. So to talk more about that, meet my guest, Natalie from Rwanda. Hello, Natalie.
Hi.
Hi. So I was talking about women's achievement in growing communities. I'm so happy to have you as a guest today to talk about women in Rwanda. So please tell us about yourself.
Thank you. My name is Natalie. So I live in Kigali, Rwanda, and I'm a research specialist, and I work with a consulting firm that aims to advance gender equality through working with women's rights organizations to help them in the gender mainstreaming, evaluations, and also assessments, and the strategy development. And I'll say that to be brief, that we work as the backbone for these women's rights organizations.
Wow, that's great. It's so nice to meet you. So I want to ask you about your friend at Southern New Hampshire University in Rwanda. I mean, the ladies, are they working or studying right now?
A lot of my colleagues are working right now, and some of them are working and also studying as well for their master's programs. But most of them are working, and few of them are studying right now.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear that. I want to ask you about your nationality. So where are you from?
I was born and raised in Rwanda, and I think I'm Rwandan.
Wow, great. I want to ask you, what are you doing to support women in your place besides your work right now? So your plan, maybe.
What I'm doing right now to support my community and also women in general. I'm always striving to break the stereotypes, especially those stereotypes that underestimate or undermine women. So I don't like those kind of stereotypes. And what I do is I teach all my friends, because I believe as a youth and also my friends, we are the future generation and the future parents and the future people to build our community and our country in general. So I always strive to break those stereotypes. And as I work in a firm that specializes in gender mainstreaming, I'm always teaching them about gender and also breaking the stereotypes, and giving much information about the advantage we have in supporting gender equality and social inclusion.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Just keep going. Uh, I want to know about your opinion. What are the responsibilities of women in growing communities, like in Rwanda? What are your responsibilities to support and help Rwanda to grow?
Okay. So most of the responsibilities and roles of women to develop the community are tied up to the social norms and the culture, also the taboos, because all those kind of things, they guide and they rule the community. So most of the roles are tied up to the social constructions, which sometimes are limitations or they don't support women. Like recently, I talked to one of my friends, and I always talk about gender, and I was asking him what he thinks about women in community, and he was like, women should raise kids.
Yeah, okay, it's
Yeah,
common here.
yeah, thank you. So, and he was telling me how women should raise children and also make sure that the next generation has children with discipline and all that. And then he mentioned something really tied up to the social norms and the stereotypes. So, without going far, I think that most people here in Rwanda, they think of women's responsibilities to grow the community as they should raise children, all those things that are tied up to the stereotypes of women raising children, and also doing small jobs
Mhm.
like this unpaid work at home, which is most of the times undervalued and it takes time. And as someone who is a gender specialist, it's really hard to get time. There's this thing called time poverty, where when we track who has time poverty between men and women. So it's a great tool for gender analysis, and most of these jobs or these responsibilities assigned to women, like this unpaid work, the chores and everything, it's so time consuming, and no one gives value for that. So, and imagine being in a society where someone thinks that women should do those kind of things to grow the community. My personal opinion for women to grow the community, I think women are really important to the community, because we have a really large number of women in our community in Rwanda. So it's above the half of the population that we have. So imagine putting behind the half of your population to grow your community. I think that that is not something we want, but Rwanda is working hard and doing so many things to help women integrate in so many activities like finance and also leadership. I think Rwanda is doing a lot of things to help women integrate in the community development, but as well as also women, as the government is trying to put women in those activities to help the community grow.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for this valuable opinion. So,
Yeah.
tell me about the main problem that women are facing in Rwanda, like in education, maybe health. So, tell me.
problems that women are facing in Rwanda, maybe let's start with health. Like I recently learned that the legal framework says that women who has mental health issues, they should their families or people who are responsible for them should put them under the contraceptive methods, because it was found out that those kind of women, they are vulnerable and they risk rape, and sexual assault, and being sexually abused. So to help prevent the unwanted pregnancy, people who are responsible for them, they should put them under contraceptive methods. And I think that is an issue. And why not focus on those people or the community that is not taking care of those vulnerable women who has mental health issues, instead of consenting for those vulnerable women to contraceptive methods that they don't know anything about. So I think that is a health issue for the women who are vulnerable to who has mental health issues, because they can't consent, and the people who are responsible for them, they consent for them. But the legal framework or the policies, they don't talk about those men who abuses those women, in the name of saying that they have the mental health issues. They won't accuse me of anything. So I think that is an issue for women, especially those who have mental health issues, because I think they face double discrimination. Discrimination for being a woman, and also discrimination for having any kind of disability. So I think that is an issue for women.
Absolutely. So, are there any companies or organizations to help those women, or no?
Yeah. I once worked with this organization. It's an organization that's helping women with disabilities. So what they are doing, they are trying to do advocacy for that legal framework, that policy to change, because their strategy is, why not focus on those men who are abusing these women, instead of consenting for these women to be under any contraceptive method. So they're working on it. Yeah, I know this one organization, but I'm sure that there are so many other organizations, because when I was working with them, they were talking about also other organizations that's focusing on women with disability. So to help them overcome that double discrimination, which is not really what we want for our community.
So, I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope we can grow with our communities soon. But media is showing women in growing communities so weak. What do you think about that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing this. I also saw that. I think that in the media is reinforcing the stereotypes that's already there, that women are really sad, are really vulnerable, and there is no hope. Like, as someone in communications, I also have a background in communications. A picture or the media or anything related to media can convey any message which is intentional, or maybe a hidden message that anyone did not think about. So I think exposing women as really sad with with
Yeah,
all the
suffering,
that they
yeah,
are facing.
crying.
Yeah, I think that is not good, because you are already reinforcing the stereotype, yet you are there to support them. So I think people in media should be trained, or should know about gender sensitive communication. I like to say that gender sensitive communication is really important for the people who are in media, because those kind of media to bring women down, they don't really look positive or anything to be proud of.
Yeah, it's really great. Finally, I want to keep talking with you. um, but what is your advice for each woman is listening now?
Oh, wow. This is a good one. uh, for women who are listening to me right now, my advice will be like something I do. I always think of myself as a human being, and before I think of myself as a woman. So I would I would like them to think of themselves as human beings
Yeah.
before they think of themselves as women. Because the reason that I'm saying this, because when you think of yourself as a woman, then it all comes with all the things, or the social norms, the culture, the taboos that's associated to women.
Mhm.
And I think all those cultural norms and the society and everything, when you think of yourself as a woman before you think of yourself as a human being, I think it comes with conditions. Like the society expects women to be like this, to talk like this, to behave like this, all those conditions. And I think all those conditions come with them limitations and so many things. So the best way I like to overcome all these challenges, the society expectations, is to think of myself as a human being
Mhm.
with no limits, and try to pursue whatever it is my dream. So I would like to encourage every woman to pursue their dream. And sometimes it's okay to be what the society doesn't expect you to be. To say this because if we look at the very first women who took a step to fight for their rights as human beings, I think it wasn't easy for them. Some of them, maybe they were disowned by their families and friends, and some of them were also rejected by the society. But they have achieved something that we are enjoying right now. It's I think it's a long way we still have to go, but I think they have come so far, and where we are right now, it's thanks to those women who took a
Really?
step and stood for their rights and fought for the human rights. So I think it's also okay for women to know that they can be different with all the challenges, and or the society criticism and what we call the social sanctions.
Mhm.
The social sanctions is when you do something the society doesn't expect you to do. Like if you are a woman and you do something that your community or your society expect to be a taboo for women, and then you get what we call a social sanction, social exclusion. That is some kind of social sanctions. But we also need to think about it as women. If you want to be great, it's okay to be what the society doesn't expect you to be. And another thing I would say is, I think they should also include men to help grow the community, and also men should know about feminism and women's rights, and help to achieve the gender equality that we are working to achieve.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to have this conversation with you. I'm so happy because you are my first guest in my first episode. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
yeah,
That's
I'm
great.
grateful for your time. I'm grateful for your efforts. I appreciate that. And yeah, that's it. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you. So, after this conversation, I feel so happy. I'm so proud of myself as a human. as a women in growing community, I feel grateful for all of my difficult experiences. If you want to support women, please study their real situation and start by taking action. Not only share bad news and feel sad about them, it will not help anyone. Most of these news are not the truth. So thank you for your listening. It's Fatima. Every Thursday, meet my guest. Have a nice day, everyone.